Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now today we're featuring a Seiko, but it's a little bit different as it's not a normal Seiko, it's not a Grand Seiko. This is a King Seiko. Now unless you're into your vintage watches, you might not have heard of King Seiko before, as King Seiko was developed back, I think, in the late 50s, roundabout roughly, and at the same time Grand Seiko was developed to take the Swiss on in the accuracy trials up at Baselworld. And basically, out of the two companies, it was Grand Seiko which won the day. And so subsequently King Seiko took a bit of a back seat, even though there was several watches all released from King Seiko for a good 10-12 years or whatever it was. They were still making watches, but back in 1977 Seiko stopped them, so they pretty well died off then. Well, when we say died off, let's face it, went into hibernation because they're back. Now, before I get too far into this watch, I've got to thank you, Ryan, over at Francis Gaye of Coventry, for allowing me to review this watch. They have a massive selection of watches and also a very, very big selection of Seiko and Grand Seiko. And now they have the King Seiko range. Well, I say there's only this model available at the moment, but it'll be an exciting time to see where this actually goes. So if you're interested in the watch and you want to buy it, give Ryan a call or pop into the shop, and I dare say he'll be able to get a watch out to you, no problem at all. So here we go, the King Seiko. Now the model number of this is, as we can see here, the SPB 283J1. Now this watch is available in a multitude of different colours. I personally think this colour really, I just think, timeless. There is also red, silver and so forth, which do look also good, but this is the one I just seen this and thought, wow, it looks great. Really does. Yeah, it looks I think a real elegant watch. Now sizes of this watch, now it is 37mm, so it's not going to be to everyone's taste, but 37mm by 12.1mm, I believe it is, by a relatively compact 43.5 lug to lug. Now the bandwidth on this is actually 19mm. So let's zoom in a bit more on that dial and see what we've got. Here we go. Now the dial, I just think, is pure class. It just looks fantastic. The hands, the polishing on the hands and the hour markers, it's what Seiko do best. They really do. When it comes to attention to detail to the dial, we all know Seiko does really well on that. It just looks really, it just pops. It looks great. The hour markers are applied, fully polished, apart from the 12 o'clock marker, which is got an etched finish on there, but that is a King Seiko trait. Now this watch is actually, I would say it's a remake or a reissue of the 1966 KS44. Now that watch looked exactly the same, albeit it was 0.5 millimeter smaller, and I just think it's really nice that they've done almost a complete copy. It just looks so nice. There is no lume on the dial, but it's not that type of watch. The actual dial, the sunburst effect on the dial, I think also just looks truly superb, even down to the applied Seiko marker at the Seiko name at the top, and the script they use to write Grand Seiko in at the bottom. King Seiko at the bottom. It just looks superb, and the automatic there. I think they really have done a really tasteful, nice job of that dial. The actual crystal we can see is a sapphire crystal box section. And again, it just looks superb. They've done it just really does look right. This watch could be £1,000 more or whatever. The dial just really does look good. The actual case of the watch is brushed on the sides. We do have these big chamfers, which were on the original watch as well, and all the brushwork there. It really does. I think they've just executed it really well. We have a non-screw down crown, but it is signed up there, which is good. And even look at the way the end links go in, and unlike most Seikos, there is no shake or tight, or maybe a tiny bit there. For some reason, I always find out on Seikos, the one side is tight and the other side is always a slight bit. I've got no idea why that is. If anyone knows, please let me know. Now, we have a screw down case back on this. This watch, after all, has got 100 meters worth of water resistance, so you know you haven't got to worry about getting it wet really. The bracelet is the typical one for the King Seiko brand back in the day. I believe it's pin and collar, but I can't say for sure because I haven't took any links out of this. We do have a butterfly style clasp, just with, again, you see how they've written King Seiko in there. It just looks elegant. It really does look nice. So, you know, I think it really does look the part. We have double pushers for release there. Underneath there, it's a shame you can't see movement, but it is actually a 6R31. So it is a 6 beat per second movement, which is a little bit of a shame, I think, because the original ones were all a high beat movement. So it's a little bit of a shame, but we don't actually get that on this model. But it is what it is. The retail price of this watch, I believe, is going to be around about the £1,400 mark, maybe a little bit more. So that's one of those things you'd have to contact and the dealer and see. Now, I'll put this on my wrist and we'll get an idea of what it looks like. Now, quick wrist check. I'm wearing a Zin 556. Bob has got his, what's he got on? He's got a Seiko Tuner SBBN 007. Let's take this off my wrist. 1 second. Say my wrist size is 7¼ inches. So get an idea of how it sits. Let me just put this on. Oops, sorry. A bit easier off camera doing this. Now, one thing I would say, look how much bracelet they give you. Now, my wrist, isn't too big at 7¼ but isn't tiny either. You could probably get away with an 8 or plus inch wrist and still wear this watch. And there you go. Now, size-wise, I know it's probably going to put some people off being only 37mm, but it looks right, I think. Especially nowadays, more of the models are going back to their original sizes rather than, sticking at the 44, 48, whatever sizes. They're going back to how most watches were. And I think it does look very elegant, very classy. So, I don't know. It's one of those watches. Would I buy one? I'm not sure myself. As there's a lot of watches around this price mark I do like. But it is definitely an interesting time for King Seiko here to see where they're going to go with the rest of their models. Because, let's face it, if this is their first model, I'm not sure if this will be the base model, but starting at around about the £1,400, £1,500 mark, it's going to be interesting to see where they actually fit in the range, with Grand Seiko obviously coming in. I think they're start around about 3,000 something. So, interesting times. Let me know in the comments below. Is this a watch you'd buy? Does it excite you? So, if you leave me a comment, I'll always try and get back to you. Okay, all the best, guys, and I'll see you in the next watch review. Take care. Bye.